Are you considering buying long-term care insurance in your golden years? Well, if you are, check out this short video where we provide some great information on self-insuring versus buying long-term care insurance. I'm Ryan Wheelis, host of the All the Money YouTube channel powered by Allied Wealth. Welcome back to the channel. We appreciate your listenership and viewership. If you like the content we're putting out below, hit the subscribe button and give us a like and a follow as well. All right. So long-term care insurance, man, it's one of these things where it's like, I don't want to pay for it, Ryan, because it's really expensive and I may spend all this money and never use it. But darn, if I ever need it, I sure will be glad that I have it, right? So, it's the way it is. It's a conundrum, okay? But what's the best way to go? Well, a couple of things to consider. There's two options. There's three options. There's to do nothing, which I don't think is a good option. Option two is to buy long-term care insurance, and option three is to self-insure. So what are the caveats of this and kind of what's the best way to go? Well, we got to look at a couple of things because there's a Genworth survey done back in 2021, and I found the results of the survey interesting because it said you have a 70% chance, or 7 out of 10 people will need long-term care insurance or have a long-term care need in their golden years. I found that interesting because 15 years ago, we would say 5 out of 10 people, or a 1 in 2 chance or a 50% chance of people would have a need for long-term care in their golden years. And what's interesting is in 15 years, that's gone up a substantial amount from 50% to 70%. That's a large increase, by the way. And the reason for that, folks, is the advances in medical technology and medications and procedures have just exponentially compounded and have gone gangbusters. I know plenty of clients that have hip replacements, knee replacements, the whole 9 yards. And as technology keeps expanding and growing, they're going to be able to replace all kind of stuff. To that end, what that means to you, if you're watching this video, you are going to live longer than any generation in history. All right. So what that does is it increases the chances of needing long-term care, which the Genworth survey, in fact, proves by going from 50% 15 years ago needing long-term care to 70% in 2021 needing long-term care. And I bet if they did it again today, it'd be even higher than that. So it begs a question, right? Well, before we can kind of dive into which way to go, we got to understand some costs, all right? So the first cost is to have someone come in your house, all right? What we call a home health aide is about $62,000 a year, all right? So if you want to have to stay in your home and have someone come in your house, it would be $62,000 a year, all right? If you wanted to go into an assisted living facility, it's cheaper than that. It's about $54,000 a year, all right? And if you wanted a full private room in a nursing home facility, it's $108,000 a year, so substantially more, double that of a assisted living facility, all right? So let's look at some numbers. The old saying in the long-term care insurance space is your stay is on average 3 years. What skews it higher than about 2 years is Alzheimer's patients, okay? So the saying is, whether you walk out of the front door or you're wheeled quietly out the back door, you'll be out of the nursing care facility in about 3 years, or long-term care facility, whatever you want to call it, in about 3 years, all right? So let's do some math. Let's say the average stay is 3 years, all right? Well, if I want to have someone come in my home, all right, that's $62,000 a year. Okay, so 3 times 62 is what? $186,000, all right, of cost. If I want to have somebody come in my home and take care, if I want to go to an assisted living facility, that's $54,000 a year, all right? So what is that? $162,000, okay? And then if I want to go into a full service home, okay, with a private room, it's $108,000 or $324,000. So we're looking at a range of anywhere from $180,000, $150,000 to up to $300,000. So $150,000 to $300,000 to have either someone come in your home, you go to an assisted facility, or have a private room, all right? So it's a big range of numbers, but let's take the top end number of over $300,000 of you actually going to have a private room in a skilled nursing facility, okay? It's actually $108,000 a year times 3 is $324,000. The question you have to ask is, should you buy insurance or could you self-insure? Okay, and here's how you answer that question. If at that point in time in your life you could spend $324,000 out of your nest egg, and it would not impact the surviving spouse's remaining lifestyle. All right, they could live the rest of their years and the same lifestyle they're living before you went into that care facility, then you can in fact afford to self-insure. People get really concerned about long-term care insurance and the cost of long-term care itself. And when they start calculating costs, they hear Ryan say, hey, the number is $324,000, but they seem to forget a lot of times about any pension income they have coming in, which still comes in, any Social Security income coming in, which still comes in, any investment income, annuity income, all that income keeps coming in. And it's not like you have to write a $308,000 check, $324,000 check right then and there, okay? You can pay this over time with distributions from various accounts using your other sources of fixed income like Social Security and pensions, etc. Okay, so if you can afford a $324,000 hit, and your surviving spouse can maintain their lifestyle, the remaining assets, you can in fact afford to self-insure. Now, if you can't afford to self-insure, okay, what that means is this: if you had to spend $324,000, your surviving spouse would not be able to continue maintaining the lifestyle they live prior to you getting that care, then you should consider long-term care insurance. Now, the challenge with it, folks, is it's very expensive, okay? And we all have the attitude of, hey, again, I may pay for all this insurance all these years, and I may never need it, right? So if you're looking at long-term care insurance, it's a lot like life insurance. I want you to buy it sooner than you need it because it will be cheaper over time. All right. But if you've waited and you think it's too late, it's still worth taking a look into, okay? Because if you buy it at 45 and you got a lot of health insurance issues or a lot of health issues, it may be the same price for someone buying at 75 with no health insurance, no health issues. Okay, so still consider looking at some quotes. A couple things you need to understand though. A lot of people think that Medicare covers long-term care insurance, and in fact, it does not cover long-term care insurance. Medicaid will. But in order for Medicaid to kick in, you must spend down all of your assets, which means you're going to die in that nursing home broke, and your loved ones will have no money left over to take care of themselves. All right, so you got to watch out for that and be mindful of that, because a lot of people think Medicare does pay for it. In fact, it does not. Medicaid does, entirely different from Medicare. Okay. The next thing to understand is that policies can go up over time. There can be rate increases over time. All right. Another option is to consider some of the newer policies out there. There's asset-based long-term care, where you put in a lump sum of cash into a program that guarantees a certain payout of long-term care benefits. And there's also some annuities that have income riders that will double the income payout benefits should you go into a care facility in the future. The point is it makes a lot of sense to investigate this stuff thoroughly. And we believe here at Ally Wealth and the On the Money YouTube channel that the healthcare plan is one of the most important aspects of the overall comprehensive financial plan, because healthcare is very expensive, right? And we're talking about dollars here lasting as long as you do or longer, okay? And healthcare is a big expense that can threaten the long-term viability of those dollars. So it's absolutely something we have to consider, be mindful of. Folks, if you want us to help you out with some long-term care quotes or provide you some information on some alternatives or help you to figure out if you need to self-insure, go to the website, allywealth.com, click on the On the Money YouTube channel button right there on the front page, and schedule a call with us. We'll get on the phone with you and help you out and be glad to serve your needs. As always, thanks so much for tuning into the On the Money YouTube channel powered by Ally Wealth. I'm your host, Ryan Wheelis. Give us a like down below, hit the subscribe button, and we'll keep updating when we put out awesome content just like this.